Tourists flooding the city of canals, clogging narrow streets and leaving behind piles of garbage. This is what happens to Venice during the summer season. So the historic Italian city wants to curb over-tourism. It has introduced a tourist fee. This is an additional charge to dissuade visitors. Day trippers will have to pay about $6 to enter Venice. If they make a last-minute plan, the charge doubles. And this policy has invited backlash, not from the tourists. They don't seem to mind a few extra bucks, but from the residents of Venice, who say that the tourist fee does not work. And they're not completely wrong. But why is that? Why is it not working? And why is country after country introducing it anyway? Here's a report.
This is Venice, an ancient Italian city that finds itself on the bucket list of many travelers. Roughly 30 million people visit each year. On its busiest days, this canal-crossed city swells with tourists who clog its streets. So Venice is trying to fight back. Last year, it experimented with a tourist fee. It started charging people to enter for a few months to dissuade visitors during busy periods. And now the entrance fee is back. The levy remains at €5 or $5.68. But this time, last-minute tourists will have to pay double. This fee will apply on 54 dates between April and July. It applies only to day trippers who make up the majority of tourists to the city. The question is, will this tourist fee help the sinking city deter visitors? Last year, when Venice started charging tourists a little extra, it didn't reduce their numbers. In fact, the city hit a new record for visitors, and more than 3.9 million people stayed overnight. So the fee didn't have much of an impact. And Venice authorities agree. They say that there's no magic wand solution to the problem of over-tourism. So now, the goal behind levying an access fee seems to have changed. Authorities are now using it to fill their coffers. Last year, Venice raked in more than $2.7 million between April and July, much more than it had expected to. And this is not a new strategy. Places have long taxed travelers and collected a fee upon their visits. Bhutan, for instance, started collecting it since it opened to travelers in 1974, and it boasts the world's highest tourist tax. It stands at $100 per person per day. It's a steep price for most travelers, and the country has used it to preserve its natural beauty and traditional Buddhist culture. With over-tourism choking cities and travel booming after the pandemic, tourist tax has become the new norm. From Japan to Greece and Indonesia to New Zealand, country after country is taxing tourists. Of course, there are some differences. Like in Spain, some cities levy the tax. Last year, Barcelona earned $104 million from it. In Japan, specific tourist spots have an additional fee, like the country's tallest peak, Mount Fuji. This is an additional income for the country, and the tourists don't mind it. The fee rarely hurts their pockets. And experts say that it only helps when tourists know where the money is going. For instance, last month, Sikkim in India began charging an entry fee. It's just about 50 rupees per tourist or $0.59. Authorities say that they want to use it to enhance infrastructure like road connectivity across the state. Iceland charges tourists about $8 per night as a fee. Then it declares where the money is used, like in building infrastructure for whale watching or maintaining hiking paths. While this is a good strategy to boost a country's income, it doesn't really curb over-tourism. So, contrary to expectations, the opposition to these tourist taxes are not from travelers, but mainly from the residents of these places who bear the brunt of the crowds and the trail of trash that they leave behind. So, it's about time the governments figure out alternative methods to curb the problem. Because clearly, charging tourists a bit extra doesn't stop local communities from paying the price for over-tourism.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.